Welcome to Civilian Jeeps. I'm Jake, and today we're at the Western North Carolina Jeep Fest in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And today I've got a really cool CJ to show you, so stay tuned, and I'm gonna show you this awesome CJ. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with what's your name and where you from?
Okay, I'm Bo Anthony. I'm from Salem, South Carolina.
All right, Bo, what kind of CJ we got here?
All right, this is a 1979 CJ7. It's got the original 304 in it. It's got the quarter-track transmission, all stock, running gear, automatic.
All right, let's go ahead and pop the hood and we can see this 304. I heard it pulling up down here and it does sound healthy. It's a nice engine. All right, so we got distributor up there. It does have power steering. So the brakes, I see it don't have a booster on it. How do you like the just the manual brakes?
It does fine.
It does fine with stopping?
A bit of trouble.
Okay. What kind of horn setup you got there?
I bought that because the other ones were so weak, and this has got a real high-pitched sound to it.
You can actually hear. The HEI distributor.
Right.
The Optima.
Holley carburetor.
It's got a Holley on it.
2-barrel.
Has the engine been rebuilt?
It has been rebuilt. When I tore it down back in, I would say, 2000, when I took it off the frame restoration, I had the motor cleaned up, went through, rebuilt totally.
Okay.
And since then I've had like 23,000 miles on it.
Let's see, you got a little bit of mileage on it, enough to know that it is a solid Jeep.
Oh yeah.
The Optima red top, I see that, that's a nice solid battery. Painless wiring harness throughout it?
Correct. When I did the upgrade, I rewired the whole Jeep with the painless. It turned out really well.
Yeah, the painless, it's some pretty good stuff. It's not very hard, is it?
No, it's...
Yeah, it truly is painless to do a wiring harness like that.
Everything's pretty much numbered and colored for you, color code, original.
So what did you say the transmission transfer case was?
It's quadra-track.
So it's got the quadra-track transfer case under it. Go ahead and try to get that in view. All right, so what's going on in the glove box here?
Okay, this is what they called back in '79. This came from the factory. It's quadra-track, and that's actually where you engage using a vacuum off the engine to put the four-wheel drive into four-wheel drive, and it's factory automatic.
Okay. So what kind of exhaust you running on this?
It's got the hooker headers for 304 out the side, and then with the chrome exhaust pipes.
All right, the suspension on this thing, we running a lift kit or anything of that nature?
Yes, it does have, when I restored it, I did put the high-tech 2.5-inch suspension lift on it, which came with leaf springs and everything. It's got the factory rear end in it, front rear end, everything's factory.
So you tried to keep this thing, you know, as stock as possible. Still tastefully done, but stock.
Yeah, I took this, like I said, I bought it brand new from one owner. Got it from him and restored it, and that's been over 15 years ago, running the BF Goodrich 32s, 1150s. They ride like a dream. Don't have no pull issues. It's a solid Jeep. I never restored, didn't replace the floor pans, anything in it. It's all the original hood, fenders, tub, no issues.
All right, well, you can definitely tell that you've put a lot of time and effort into this Jeep because it is nice and it's super clean. So going on the inside of the Jeep, one of the first things that I noticed was the maroon interior. What kind of, do you know what the paint coat is on the interior here?
I do not. I had this colored whenever I matched it with the color for the seats and matched with the interior. This is the Line X interior. They sprayed that over in Greenville at Line X. And I also had the steering wheel sent off, had it leather coated to match the interior.
That is nice.
I had a guy out of Greenville, South Carolina. He did my art painting on the dash.
That is
Everything
cool
else is pretty much, it's all stock, but just like I said, just made pretty.
Yeah, and that
Upgraded.
it is very nice. Now the gauges, are those the stock gauges?
Yeah, those are all stock gauges. Sure are.
Oh, that's nice. Is all the actual controls, the pull levers and everything?
Yes,
right?
Everything works fine.
Is that a tilt column? I can't
No,
tell.
it's not a tilt column.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Automatic.
I did wire, like I said, I did wire the KC lights on the front bumper. I got the 2 bumpers on the front and back. This is actually the top that comes on a Jeep, because you can't buy the white top. But this is actually one that came off of another Jeep. It didn't have one, and I had to get it.
So is the bikini top the only top you have, or do you have other tops?
No, this is the only top I run.
Hey, on a real Jeep like this, you don't need any other top.
If it gets wet, it gets wet.
Now, I seen your strikers. These are the early model strikers. Do you have the doors for this Jeep?
I did have the doors and the hard top, but yeah, this is all factory. But I sold it because I got tired of moving them off and on around.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, this is what I drive on the weekends on pretty days, and
Yeah,
rainy
don't
days
need
really
doors
doesn't matter
anyway.
because it's
Sitting
a
in
Jeep,
the garage.
right?
Yep, that's true. So going around to the exterior of the Jeep here, I see that you have some tube bumpers on this. Do you know what the brand of those are?
I do not. I know the guy was making them for a while, and then I think he stopped because the issue was UPS was denting the ends of the bumpers, and I
Yeah.
talked him into selling me one set, and I promised him I wouldn't send them back if they got dented in shipping. So he made me a set, and they came perfect. So
Yeah, they look great. I mean, you must really polish them bad boys. Well, you don't drive it in the rain, so I don't guess you
I
have
do
to worry.
too. I mean, rain doesn't
Oh,
stop
do you?
me.
Okay. Well, it
I've had
sure
this
looks
thing
like
wet.
you don't drive it in the rain. This thing's mint. Even got the matching rear one as well. So tell us about the Hinkle's Jeep there, the Hinkle Jeep.
Like I said, this was an original Jeep. It came out of Hinkle's Jeep through 70s up to the early 80s. Hinkle's Jeep claimed to be the world's largest Jeep dealer. He was picking South Carolina and sold more Jeeps than anybody.
So what were you telling me earlier about Hinkle's Jeep? If you had a used one as a year old, you could upgrade?
Yes, back in the day, you bought a Jeep from Hinkle's, you got to keep it for 1 year, and when the new models came out, he would give you give him $600 and he would give you a new Jeep.
That is wild. You know, the dealerships of today, they'd cringe at that. Not enough money to be made, I guess. All right, so what would be like the max radius you drive this Jeep? What kind of reliability standpoint are we looking at on this?
I would get in this Jeep and take off to California in it.
Would you
in a
really? So
heartbeat.
this thing,
I
pretty
haven't
solid.
had any issues with the engine, except for, I will tell you this, you've heard all the wise tales about the vapor locking.
Oh,
it
yeah.
did vapor lock. When I first built the engine and drove it, it vapor locked on me like twice. And the issue, everybody told me everything from putting a paper clip on the gas line to wrapping it in tinfoil. The fix is putting a nice mechanical fuel pump on it, because this is a mechanical fuel pump. If you buy a nice one, it'll cost you about $250. You put that on
So not
there.
electric fuel pump, but a mechanical fuel pump?
It's a mechanical.
Okay.
And you put it on it, and I have not had any issues with it vapor locking since.
Huh. That's good to know.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's nothing but the mechanical.
My CJ7, I mean, it's Chevy 350 based, but it had vapor lock. I had to put a spacer between the intake and the carburetor, and that ended up fixing mine. But a 304 is probably a little different.
Yep.
So, as far as future upgrades for this, do you have anything that you just want to do to it maybe one day, or is it perfect?
Not right offhand. I mean, I did everything, tried to think of everything I could think of why I had it tore down. I get compliments everywhere. Here at the show, I had 3 people wanting to buy it, but like I said,
Yeah.
you can't buy a one-owner Jeep nowhere, hardly anywhere.
No. Well, that's the thing I was going to
And
go
solid.
into next, is if you would ever sell it. For
No.
anybody that would watch this, and I have had people sell their Jeeps off my channel before, would you ever sell it?
I wouldn't sell it no time soon.
Yeah, I don't blame you. This thing is
I enjoy
absolutely
it.
mint.
Like I said, I drive it through the mountains on weekends, trips, North Carolina, Virginia, then far as Charleston, and haven't had any issues.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Like, you definitely have a solid Jeep here. So last thing I want to ask you is, what would be your favorite upgrade or just mod that you've done to this CJ? I know it's mostly stock, but is there something that you've done to it that is just over the top that you love that you did?
The wheels. Everybody thinks sometimes those are what factory wheels. They're not. They upgraded. Everybody put those on in the 70s and 80s on the CJs and the Western turbine wheels, and it took me probably 3 years to find a set that was clean enough to put on this Jeep, and
Yeah.
I was tickled to death when I finally found a set that
Those
complimented the Jeep.
Those are nice classic turbines. And they got the white theme going on too. I mean, overall, it just looks absolutely killer. But, well, that's all Bo has to say about his 79 CJ7 here. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you want to know more about it, drop a comment down below. I'll try to answer anything I know. I'll have Bo try to log on to YouTube and see if he can answer anything you guys might want to know about it. But if you want to see more interviews of CJs like this, make sure you let me know as well. Hope you've enjoyed this, and you know, when it comes to Jeeps, keep it classic.